Halacha Ches in Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah. Nefesh kol basar hu tzurasa shenosan lehakel. The soul of every living thing is the form that was given to him by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we go to the Peirush. V'adas hayischo hamatzuya b'nefesh shel odam, and the extra intellectual capacity that is found in the soul of man. Hitzos ha'odam hasholim b'daito. That is the shape of the complete person in his thoughts, and that's why a man is greater than an animal. Now, the Mefarish explains that the Rambam is telling us two aspects. The outer aspects that we see, the Rambam calls Torah. And the inner one, that is the ultimate of man, is Tachlis, the goal. For example, the name for the adjective of a seat is its four legs, the outer appearance. But the inner part of it is it's made to be sat on. So by person there's two aspects. There's the outer one and the inner one. The outer one are his limbs that you see. His eyes, his ears, the nose, the mouth, etc. And to eat and to drink. But he's no different than an animal in this regard, even though they too have eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. And they too eat and drink and they reproduce. What's the difference between them? The extra intelligence, which is within, that he can understand and comprehend things and with completeness, even though animals have a spirit, but that is called Nefesh HaMeir. That's the life spirit. That causes the animal to be able to function. But for a person, there is the soul that speaks, that a person can utilize to speak. And with this regard, the Torah says, let us make man as in our form, in our shape, that he should be able to comprehend and to do, and to accomplish. And even those things which have no form, material, such as Malachim. But certainly it doesn't mean that actually they'll be like Hashem. Only that thing that a person can make himself similar in his ways and in his intelligence. Meaning, Kloma, that means Shatia Leitzur Hayudas Umaseges Hadeus Shein Lem Goylum. So you should be able to have, comprehend, and know that which has even no form. Just like they should know that there are angels that have a form without elements. Until he will become similar to them. When he realizes the upper spirituality, then he can elevate himself. And this gave this preparation. The person has to use his own powers to become to that level. And as the Rambam said before, when he's talking about the first level of Ishim, of the angels, the first of the 10 levels, which we have in Perek Beis, which are the closest to the level of man. The Rambam continues, he does not say regarding this shape, which is recognized to the eyes, which is the mouth, the nose, the halistois, and the side, the cheeks of the jaws and the cheeks, and the rest of the outline of man is not what's meant here. That's only an adjective to what the person is. And it is not the soul. He's not referring similarly to the spirit which causes everything to exist. Whereby it eats, it drinks, it procreates, it feels, and it also thinks. Now this thought is one of the 12 Hushim senses that the Goyim of Vilna writes in Sefer Yetzirah, which is 12, have to do with the 12 signs of astrology. That every living thing has 12 senses, and people have 2 additional ones. which is hero, which is thought, schok, and laughter. And what it says, the Rambam says here, hero, having to do with all living things, it doesn't mean to what we got contemplation by man thinks, but it's less than that. When it needs food, it looks for food. That's thought. Hadashi tzur zanefesh. There she tzur zanefesh. It's just a knowledge that it is a form of the person of the spirit. And regarding this form of the soul, that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is speaking about, making man in our shape and in our form. Means that is man that has this additional intellect to comprehend. And at times this is called nefesh v'ruach. The Rambam concludes that at times, this points out these names that we're saying that are similar by man and beasts, but they mean different things. Nefesh v'ruach, and by a person you can say ruach. And it says in Keheles, we there ruach b'nei the spirit of man. And by behema you have the concept of ruach as what it says ruach ha-behema. But by the animal, the intent is to the what activates the physical being of the animal. By man, it means the intellectual. Therefore, man has to be careful with their name, that a person should not have a mistake. In every name, a name shouldn't be known from its contents, context. So he says nefesh, you should know what soul we're talking about. By nefesh of a living creature, it's called nefesh. When he says ruach, you should know whether it's talking about spirit that activates or spirit that understands. The Peirush, he explains that even for the life essence of a living thing, there are three parts, which are called the elements of the natural elements. The soul, which causes it to live, and nefesh hanefashis, and nefesh hativius. Now, it's three. There's nefesh hativius, and nefesh hachidronis, and nefesh hanefashis. Nefesh hativius, the natural one, that way he eats and drinks and reproduces. The nefesh hachiyunis gives the animal the ability to feel and move, and that means the nervous system, and that keeps the limbs in place. And the fasces is how he feels and thinks and moves. There is also the portion hamidamer, which he internalizes that which occurs to him even after they're gone. Therefore, this ability to think about what has happened in the past teaches an animal how to exist in the future. And even though this is found by every living creature, here it is different than that of man. And there are things that are in a man which are like the animals, and there are things that are unique only to man. Targum on the posuk that says Vayoram nefesh chayo, the Targum translates it l'ruach u'malo, to the being that can speak. That when it talks about nishmas chayim, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu placed in them is the ability to speak, and therefore the early commentaries said that the soul of God that's found in man is the ability to speak. After HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the ability to every creation from the 6 days of creation, he gave to man a unique thing that he can speak. Therefore it says, because in the physical being he is like the earth, but in his spirit he is similar to the upper spheres and the spirit that will never die, because it's not made up of any of basic, the neshama is not made up of any of the basic foundations and elements. Dargus medaber, even though a person can speak, it's not because this ability, he says words, That could be, it could be that even the birds have a way of, the parrot can speak. It doesn't mean speaking, but it means the intelligence to know what to say. A person who is intelligent is that is no intelligence is like an animal, even if he speaks, because he did not utilize that ability to elevate it to a point where it's used by man. And even the soul that's put in person is only a preparation to get the spirit is put into the man, so you should be able to comprehend. But that's only if he does so. If he changes it now, in reverse, somebody who cannot speak is still considered a speaker because he has intelligence, and he can learn from what happens around him. The Rambam gave a simile for all this, from what to every person has the power, the ability to write. But once, until he doesn't write, he's not considered a writer. So too, every person knows that in his soul, he can reach greater heights. But as long as he doesn't utilize it, he's not man. If somebody doesn't have knowledge, it's considered like an animal. The Al said in the Dorim, Das chosalto makoniso. If you lack wisdom, what have you acquired? So it's something that you acquire with life. Like it says in Mishlei, Gam b'lo das nefesh lo tov. Even also without knowledge, then the spirit of man is not in a good place.